Welcome to the 16th edition of the Times Techies webinar. I have my colleague Sujit John as the co-host of today's webinar. The topic of today's webinar is AWS User Groups and Certifications. To talk about it, we have two guests, Jeevan Dongre and Dhaval Nagar. Jeevan Dongre is the co-founder and CEO of Antstack. Jeevan is a DevOps engineer based out of Bangalore. Jeevan has been a part of the app development, e-commerce, and product development organization in his previous stints. Automation, cloud computing, and managing large-scale web applications are his technical passions. He, along with a few other like-minded people, founded the Bangalore AWS User Group.
We can hear you, Shilpa. I think your lights went off.
Yeah, my lights went off.
You can't read?
Yeah, I can. He, along with a few other like-minded people, founded the Bangalore AWS User Group in 2011 to disseminate the knowledge on AWS and other cloud-related areas. The developer-driven group also focuses on helping and building the network of tech enthusiasts, channelizing the latest trends and updates. Jeevan hopes to further strengthen the Bangalore AWS User Group, make it one of the best user groups in India for peer-to-peer learning. Welcome, Jeevan. We also have with us Dhaval Nagar. Welcome. Dhaval is the founder of cloud consulting firm AppGambit. He's based in Surat and he loves to work on everything around cloud services. Serverless is his area of interest and he works with clients across the world to showcase how serverless can be efficiently used in solving business challenges. Dhaval has been professionally developing applications for around 15 years and has been using the AWS platform since 2015. Coincidentally, the first service that he picked on AWS was Lambda, the serverless computing platform. He is currently working on serverlessfaqs.com to share frequently asked questions related to the topic. He has cleared 11 AWS certifications and holds other cloud certifications too. He runs the Surat AWS and serverless user groups. Welcome, Dhaval.
Thank you.
Over to you both.
Yeah.
So Jeevan?
Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shilpa, for the very warm introduction. Before I start, I would like to make a small disclaimer that we both are passionate cloud enthusiasts and we are running AWS community organically. We are not AWS or Amazon employees. I would like to thank all the people who joined the Facebook Live today. Before I start, let me introduce or talk about what.
A little louder. Can you be a little louder, Jeevan?
Sure. So before I talk about AWS User Group India, let me also talk about what user groups in general. So user groups are a set of people who have similar interests, goals, and concerns. The members have meetings where they can share their ideas. Ideally, the members of the user group come from the same geographical location so that they can get together in person. A user group may be devoted to a particular topic or a technology or a company or a corporation or even maybe hobbies. In US, the user group has been taken very seriously. There are photography user groups, there are cooking user groups, there are baking user groups. So this is about user group. Now let me talk about what AWS User Groups and Community does. Pertaining to carrying the same principles of user groups, AWS community has grown stronger and stronger over the period of time. AWS now has 400 plus focused user groups across the world, which enables people to learn from each other. The objective of the user group is to enable and encourage peer-to-peer communication and learning. Share ideas, share best practices, pitfalls, upcoming features, and troubleshooting. The kind of audiences which any AWS user group today have come from a variety of backgrounds, starting from student to a fresher and to developers, DevOps, CEOs, and co-founders of the company as well. And people do come across from the very variable industry segments like startups, SMBs, and enterprises as well. So this is about AWS User Group in general. Coming to the point, what AWS User Group in India means. It all started in the year 2011 as Shilpa introduced me. So I, along with a bunch of other friends, started AWS User Group Bangalore in the year 2011. The whole objective of creating a user group was to enable peer-to-peer learning, learn from each other, and stuff like that. And more important and strong objective during that time was the internet penetration was not to that great extent. I mean, internet was still accessible only in the large corporates or probably cyber center or great schools and colleges. It was not a utility where we get an internet connection to home. So that made me to put together a kind of people who are passionate about AWS and want to learn about AWS. Starting from 2011 Jan, where we had a first meetup with 100 people, we have come a really long way in this journey. It's a 9th anniversary. It's the 9th year of user group in Bangalore, and we have 8,000 plus members in the community. Apart from Bangalore, other cities emerged in India. In over a period of time, we have user group activities happening in Chennai, Ahmedabad, Bhubaneswar, Coimbatore, Delhi, Gurgaon, Hyderabad, Jaipur, Cochin, Kolkata, Mumbai, Pune, Ranchi, Surat, Trivandrum, Vadodara, and Visakhapatnam. So if you are in one of these cities, you are highly likely you can catch up a user group activity near you. Most of the user groups, especially AWS user groups, are running on meetup.com. So go to meetup.com and see if there is a user group in your city. You can also log on to the link which I have provided in the slide, aws.amazon.com/developer/community/user group/specific. So apart from our regular meetups and user group activities, we do host a lot of events in parallel. So one of the best example for the other activities is what happened today. Our community hosted the first AWS Women in Tech Day today with more than 2,200 plus registrations, and we had 1,173 participants today. I remember the numbers exactly because we just happened today and we just closed the event a few hours ago. We had more than 1,173 participants with more than 14 speakers from AWS and AWS communities. The other advantages of attending an AWS event or an AWS community events that you get access to a lot of other things. As an example, today one of the APM education and training partner, they declared to celebrate the diversity, they declared 80% off on AWS training courses and also 15% off on AWS certification courses as well. So these are some of the benefits which you get if you are part of AWS communities across India. So as a community leader and AWS hero, I get to travel to few places and also meet amazing people. The knowledge and the experience and the passion to learn and the peer-to-peer sharing goes above and beyond India and above and beyond Bangalore. So last year I was in Melbourne around the same time to attend AWS community in Melbourne, and I also got to travel to Las Vegas last year to attend the flagship event of AWS, which is AWS reInvent, and it was great to meet Dr. Warners. If you can see the photograph which I'm sharing. So the peer-to-peer learning, the knowledge sharing, the experience of running the user group is not restricted to only Bangalore or only India. It also can be shared with the rest of the world, and I can also get to learn what is happening around the world in terms of user group activities as well. So as a part of our other activities, apart from running user groups activities, we also do something called AWS Community Day. AWS Community Day is a format. It's a format proposed by AWS itself to encourage and enable user groups and communities across the world to host 1 or 2 day events and bring people from different diversities and geography together and enable peer-to-peer learning and sharing. As a part of this, Bangalore User Group hosted the first ever AWS Community Day in India in the year 2017 with 200 people. because of the response we got in the year 2017, we got a very overwhelming and positive response, which inspired us to host the event next year, that's 2018. And as AWS always recommends to raise the bar, we raised our bar from 200 to 450 plus people with multiple tracks. And in the year 2019, we raised the bar to a very large extent. So we did the AWS Community Day for more than 900 plus, with more than 900 plus attendees and 4 tracks and 35 plus speakers. I must say last year was a kind of AWS Community Day year for all of us coming from AWS community. A lot of cities had their first AWS Community Day: Chennai, Cochin, Mumbai, Kolkata, Pune, Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad was very lucky to do the AWS Community Day this year before the pandemic, and most of the cities managed to get more than 600 people attendees, and with multiple tracks and multiple sessions. The good thing about AWS Community Days are all the speakers and sessions are handpicked by the volunteers and the community members. Uh, it is not about being an AWS employee or an evangelist. It's all about community coming together as a one crowd or a one population, and try to spread the knowledge. So even the speakers are handpicked by community leaders itself. Speaking about the community days, for the first time ever, all the 18 plus cities which I mentioned have come together this year as one nation, one community, putting together a single virtual event, which is a 2-day event happening on 16th and 17th October. We have Jeff Barr doing the keynote, who is VP and Chief Evangelist of AWS. He's also addressing India for the first time as a keynote speaker. We have planned more than 10 plus sessions by cloud experts around India and across the world. And we also have 4 technically hands-on workshops by our community heroes and industry experts on containers, as well as machine learning and Alexa. This is the first time we are doing this, and it's a free event. Feel free to register yourself. You can log on to awsug.in. The other social media handles are on the screen: twitter.com AWSUG India, linkedin.com/company/AWSUG India, facebook.com/AWSUG India. So these are the handles you can follow to get more updates. It is going to be an exciting event for all of us, and we have been working for the last 3 months to put this event and make this event a grand success. And organizing such events is not an easy job. So we require a lot of people and volunteers in the back end or the backstage to work together and put this event. So we have people coming across from the student community. We have people coming from the AWS Builders community. We have people coming as AWS heroes like me. We also have people who run AWS user groups, and there are a lot of people who are working professionals voluntarily coming towards and helping us to put this community together. So I would like to also talk about a little bit about AWS Heroes program. So AWS Hero program recognizes a vibrant worldwide group of AWS experts who are known for knowledge sharing as a real impact within the community. So the knowledge sharing can happen in many ways. I've just listed a few, which are blogs. You can contribute to the online. You can contribute to the open source projects, online forums, speaking engagements, attending events, be a speaker in one of the events, mentor students, or probably young developers and DevOps engineers, conduct hackathons and workshops. I have also showed a few AWS heroes from India. Ankit is from Kolkata, Bhuvaneshwari is from Bangalore, Gaurav is from Mumbai. He also runs AWS User Group Mumbai. Myself, Nilesh is from Ahmedabad. He also runs Ahmedabad User Group Chapter. Partha from Chennai, who also the AWS User Group leader from Chennai. Apart from the community heroes, AWS also recognizes heroes whose contribution to a particular field of technology is impactful. We have serverless hero Dhaval with us, who will be talking about the certification. We have Jayesh, who is India's first machine learning hero. We have Prashant, who is India's first serverless hero. And we also have Sridevi from Chennai, who is our first data hero. And we have Sandeep, who is also our first container hero. So apart from community activities, people can focus on a particular segment of technology, which is mostly the latest technology or upcoming technology in the market, like machine learning, serverless data, IoT, container, stuff like that. AWS will also recognize those kind of people for their immense contribution to the community. I will take 1 minute to talk about Jayesh especially. Jayesh is one of the youngest, I think the youngest AWS hero in India. I probably maybe outside India as well. He just finished his engineering and started his career. He was nominated as Machine Learning Hero this year because of his immense contribution towards machine learning. He also ran AWS User Group Pune. So to become a hero, there is no age bar or eligibility or the kind of industry one has to come up with. It's absolutely depending upon how passionate you are to contribute and work with the community for the upliftment of the community in terms of education and knowledge sharing.
How do you get selected, Jeevan? The AWS decides or how?
AWS decides.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over to Dhaval, who is going to talk about the certification journey. Dhaval is 12 plus certification serverless hero. And I would like to thank Times Group and Times Techies group for giving me this opportunity to express my learning with the rest of the community and the crowd. And I also wish everyone who is watching this online to stay safe and stay healthy during this pandemic. Thank you so much. Over to you, Dhaval.
Thank you. I need to stop sharing. Okay. Well, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Sujit, Shilpa, Vamsi, and thank you, Jeevan, for the introduction. I'll start right away. So my name is Dhaval Nagar. I am one of the AWS heroes, and I also run AWS community in Surat. So today I'm here to talk about AWS certifications and how that has impacted my overall professional career over the years. So to do that, I need to go back a little bit, like Shilpa mentioned, that I have been professionally developing and designing systems for almost 15 years now. So my journey started back in 2006. I was mostly developing solutions which were like meant for on-premise kind of a fixed infrastructure. It was not even a kind of an IT company. So after doing that for a few years, I then put that aside and started my freelancing career. That gave me an immense amount of learning. I did a lot of things from writing web applications to just designing the web user interfaces, or even writing the mobile application. It was quite popular to write mobile application in early days, 2010, 11-ish or so. But it was this was a very important learning. It gave me kind of understanding of everything, different things that we need to manage, different things that we need to do, and stuff like that. But that actually helped me in my coming years. So fast forward few years, I was like everyone else, I was designing software solutions now meant for internet-based applications. So that means I use a number of different services for the database, for the hosting, storage, authentication, and stuff like that. So was like kind of doing combining different services of whatever I knew back then, and then building the internet-based application and providing these solutions to my customers. And after that, somewhere in 2015, we had this interesting problem, and that was the first time when I started mainstream using AWS or Amazon Web Services. That it was a very simple problem that we had this very large images generated from DSLR cameras, and we had to shrink it down so that a lot of images can be displayed into a single page and very fast. That page can be loaded very fast. It was an internet-based application. So I used Amazon Web Services first time back then, early to mid 2015, and somehow I got completed the task. It was a very exciting opportunity, and at the end it worked really well. So that got me thinking that if I can do these things with almost zero cost and in less time, then AWS as together can do a lot of things. And by that time, AWS had huge number of services. I know AWS right now, as we speak, has 175 services. So it's like the maximum number of services that a public cloud or a cloud provider can have. So I started spending more and more time exploring what all things can be done using AWS, and started building newer solutions using AWS as a main cloud solution. So the reason why I put this point is that our journey, whoever is attending, and if you're also thinking, the journey can start from anywhere. I mean, it took me almost 9+ years to then migrate to one cloud provider and start designing solutions based on that. So if you are thinking to move, you are thinking how to migrate, I mean, there is no right or wrong time. You just need to start doing that and start exploring that. So after then completely moving to AWS to design the new different solutions, I realized that it is still not working out well. I can do certain things, but my core or my fundamental knowledge related to cloud computing is still not complete. I every time I find myself that there are few things I do not know, and I do not know how they work. So I'm not able to design my application properly, or design my application with that focus so that it can actually work and scale, security and all those things for many years to come. So then I started looking at how I can actually enhance my knowledge around cloud computing, and AWS was already offering a number of cloud certifications. So in their simplest definition, the cloud certification provides a path, which is kind of a guided path. It starts from foundational level and goes to intermediate to like expert, and to subject specific expert level. So then I decided that this is the right opportunity, right? I know certain things about the cloud, and I can actually start learning in this direction guided way. That probably that should help me learn more of the cloud computing, and in general more things about the AWS. Now that was in early 2018 when I started actually preparing for my very first cloud certification. I referred tons of resources from the documentation or the blogs or the books, or even the WizLab test or the A-Cloud Guru. These are very popular names. I mean, any of you who are already studying or already inquiring about the cloud certifications, chances are that you already are familiar with that. But then one thing which actually stuck with me for a very long time is the practice, because it's so vast. You can actually get lost if you are just following the books or the documentation and then trying to achieve the certification. So if you are already doing that, or if you have any question, then what should be my first or the last or the middle step? Then the practice is the one thing which I can suggest. So that was in 2018 when I started, and AWS had only 8 certifications back then. And when we are talking right now, AWS has 12 certifications. As you can see, these certifications falls into different categories. AWS has done a very good job on explaining that which certification falls where one should start, where one should progress, which are the popular categories. Specialties are some of those categories. I think many of you might be able to even catch it up from the words like networking, security, machine learning, database, data analytics, and all those things. So I started somewhere in the middle. I mean, I have all 12 as of today. I have cleared all 12 certifications. So I'll explain how I went from starting nowhere and completing all 12. So this is kind of that small graph that I created. at the very bottom, so this gray area is explaining the overall services that AWS has. It is right now 175. Back then it was around 110, 120 when I started preparing for the certification. So instead of starting, my advice to someone who is, if you are still in college and if you want to learn about cloud, I would highly recommend to go with Cloud Practitioner. It will give you enough knowledge and understanding about what cloud computing is. It will make you ready for your professional career when you start. And at the same time, it will give you all the detail that one should know. I mean, cloud computing is not very simple thing. It's complicated, and it is growing complicated. But one thing is sure, that cloud computing is here to stay for a very long time. So if you want to start, if you are thinking to start, now is the right time to do that. So I started somewhere here, associate, which is kind of considered to be an intermediate category. I already had a good knowledge around few things. So I thought, why not start with there instead of starting with the foundational level. So these associate and the pro, these are the areas which requires good amount of understanding, not just theoretical knowledge, but good amount of practical understanding as well. So I actually spent almost a year on these 5 alone, so which includes the 3 from the associate level and 2 from the professional level, because I realized that the more I have, the more practice that I will do, it will help me. And it actually worked the same way. I cleared the associate, the intermediate one first, and I went for the professional one. And I tried to actually match it with my day job. So whatever that I have been doing, I actually pick a certification close to that so that I can learn, I can experiment, and I can apply as well. AWS says the same thing. If you want to learn cloud computing, you need to actually do the experimentation, you need to learn along the way, and you need to start applying these things. Because if you are not applying, that means all is there in your head. After some time, you will lose it, or you may not be able to then successfully apply it. So the key part is that you should be able to keep on applying this as and when it is possible for you. So after this 12, I'll say, except the machine learning, I'm on a regular basis, I'm applying all the other. The key difference between the professional and the secure, the specialty one, if anyone has that question, it is the depth. Okay, the associate or the intermediate covers the breadth of the services, so it includes a lot of AWS services. Now they have 175, so it includes quite a good number of services, but at a very brief level. So if you just have the understanding around that, it will work. The more you go upwards, it's similar to how we grow into our professional area. Every passing year, people expect more out of us because we have spent more time. So that is what these certifications are also expecting, that more time that you spend around working with AWS technologies, you should be comfortable for the professional. And if you are then spending more time, like after 10 years or after 15 years, you are then not doing everything. You are actually spending a lot more time in a specific area, like maybe security, maybe database, maybe data analytics, machine learning, and those things. So then you should have more familiarity. So depth of the familiarity grows over the period of time. And that is how these certifications are designed. So someone can start, even you are still in college, you have just fresh out of the college, or you are already a working professional and you want to move to cloud. So Practitioner is the right place to start. And then with time, with your practice, go one step up. That's what I do. That's what I did. So the frequent question that I get all the time is why I did all the 12. I mean, what is the advantage of doing all of it? Now, I work for myself. So I decided every time I complete a certification, it gives me a kind of a new set of learning. I learn something new. I apply that and I get some kind of good result out of it. And that got me curious that if I have done so many things and it works out pretty well, why not explore new areas? You never know, right? You might get interest into different area like Alexa or machine learning. So these are the areas you never know. You might not start with that, but after some experimentation, you might be more interested in that. So that is how I progressed from one certification to another. I never planned to do all those 12, but I thought that one is giving me enough kind of excitement, enough learning, and enough value in return. So why not go for the next one? And that is the path I selected to actually do. And then each one laid out a stepping stone for the next one. Even I have 12, but I'm still thinking that maybe one day they'll release more, and that will give me a chance to actually then prepare and learn something new for that. So one other thing that comes to everyone's mind, that if I know intermediate, if I know professional, which is considered to be very, very complicated, specialty considered to be extremely complicated, because those are subject specific, more depth is required on the security, networking, and machine learning. Why to ever go for the foundational? So I have the foundation certification as well. So one thing I learned along the way is that as you spend more time with these services, there is some kind of a return value that it generates. And I got to know a program called AWS SME, that is a subject matter expert. Now they invite people from all over the world if you get invited. So if you get invited, you get a chance to actually then be part of a workshop where you design the questions which eventually one day will make out into the real exam. So that I recently completed one of the workshop for the SME for the foundational level. And I know that one day all those questions that we designed during the workshop will be part of the real exam. So that is starting from nowhere, not knowing cloud, then be part of this journey, and then finally contributing it back to the examination itself. So one day those things will be part of the real exam, and someone else might be answering the question which I designed. So that I found really, really kind of a rewardful, and this is the ultimate return that I received throughout the process. So now I didn't do all this 12 in a kind of a single person way. Along the way, I got a lot of opportunity. I got to meet a lot of people, including Jeevan here. So that kind of motivated me, that kind of gave me more experience, different use cases and stuff like that. So I realized that this is helping. This is a good thing that I'm doing, and that kept me going on. Along the way, I started AWS User Group in my city, and that helped many others to start their own cloud journey as well. In a way, I started writing the blog post around about all the things that I have learned. And overall, my value, due to the skill set, the certifications, so I improved myself. And that also improved the trust of my employers on me, because they now know that I know a lot of things, and I can be of a good value addition to the everything that I'm doing. So future, everyone knows, if anyone has ever given any of this cloud certification, they have an end of life attached to that. So all the AWS certifications that I have achieved so far, they have 3-year end of life. That means in 3 years, they'll expire, and I'll have to recertify. And the bigger question everyone asks, that you did that in the past, will you do it again? And the simple reasoning is that whatever I did, I learned so many things. I met so many people. I got a chance to talk about it. Right now also we are doing the same thing, right? So I got a chance to talk about that, and that all happened because I did that thing. I put our effort into that. So yes, if it comes to that point, I'll sit again, I'll learn new things. 3 years back, they didn't have a lot of things. Now they have it. 3 years from now, they'll have entirely new things. So in a way, I'll get a chance to learn new things. So I'll definitely recertify for that. With that, thank you for having me, and I'll hand it over to Sujit. And
I just want to ask a question. How much time does it take you to finish a course? And would that be similar for others?
It is not same for all. Every certification has a different requirement. Cloud Practitioner is something that you can do in few weeks. Associate level, the intermediate ones, you can actually do from a month, 2 month, 3 month. Professionals requires more depth. So if you are already a cloud professional, if you're already your day job or whatever that you are doing, if you're already using these things, then it makes the job much easier. And then the foundation, if your foundation is pretty solid, then there is a lot of overlapping. So there are, all the certification doesn't have unique AWS services in them. There are some services which carry forward, like security is a base. Everything that AWS does, it starts with security. Okay, so security is something very base. Networking is something very base. So there are some services which keep on coming from certification to certification, and that lays out the foundational kind of a core strength. So if you understand it at core really well, the moment you start progressing from the foundational to intermediate to professional to specialty, it will actually also increase the confidence in you. Yes, they become difficult, but you will enjoy the process as well.
Okay. I think that presentation, can you stop that?
Sure.
Dhaval? Yeah.
Yes. Sure.
Okay,
Jeevan, Jeevan, you were a part of AWS's user group since inception, since 2011.
Yeah. Can
So
you
if you
hear
can,
me?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So you were a part of the user group since 2011. Can you take us through how you built the community ground up? What does it take to really power the community?
The first thing is persistence. We had user group activities where we were only few people, like 2, 3 people sitting and discussing about AWS, but we never gave up, number one, and identify the areas which requires a lot of hand holding, right? I mean, there are few services in AWS where it is good to discuss, like when they release a new services, people will be excited and curious to know more about a particular service. So what we do is we used to pick up those kind of newly announced services, read about it, read the blogs, websites, and whatever we could read, and probably conduct a session or probably find a speaker who can who have already worked on the newly announced service and share his experience and knowledge. uh, First factor is one need to be very persistent, should not give up easily. Though there will be a time when people just don't appear to user group activities or meetups. But eventually, once you keep posting, once I kept posting activities or meetups, started announcing meetups every month, rigorously and religiously, people started coming up. So we have a very nice graph. Uh, so there were times where there were 2, 3 people, and there were meetups where we ran out of the space as well. Like the room capacity was 130, 140, but we had 200, 250 people standing and listening to the session. Uh, we had sessions where the room capacity was 500, but we had only 50 people as well. So it doesn't matter as long as we believe that we are adding some value to the community.
is there a governing body or something for the?
No,
No.
it is just about just us who make sure the content is great.
How does us mean? Just some passionate people, is it?
Yes, it's just passionate people.
Okay.
There is no governing body.
Okay. And then what? Can somebody just write to you if there somebody wants some knowledge, some information? I mean, something to know about AWS or the technology. Can they just write to you and things like that?
Yeah, they can definitely write to me. I can help them out, or if I cannot help them out, I can point to a right person where they can get the right information as well.
Okay. Okay. Shilpa?
Yeah. Dhaval, you spoke about completing all the 12 certifications and how you saw that as an extension of your day job, right? So if you can take us through, what are some of the certifications you felt were advanced, were a little hard to crack? If you can talk about that.
So I have two, which I think everyone will, even online, they can confirm. One is in advanced networking. So that is considered to be one of the kind of a toughest in AWS and across the category of the certification. The reason being, the networking is a piece where you should know the networking. Okay, it is not something that you can actually do some kind of a gust estimation and try to answer that. So you need to know the mechanics of the networking. Now, fortunately, around the same time, I was actually building this cloud networking kind of an infrastructure for one of my customer, and that I took that opportunity. So I realized that if I'm doing that, why not go deep? Why not go through the blueprint? And AWS does a really good job. So they have blueprint for each of the certifications. So you can go there, look at what all things that are included, what all things you need to cover. Now, it achieves two things. One is that I need to anyway do my task, right? One or the another way. At the same time, if I follow the blueprint, I will also understand the best practices, how different companies, how AWS recommends to do the networking. And that was a win-win thing. So it took me more time to crack through that. But finally, I got lucky. So that was one of, in overall, it was one of the most difficult that I found. The next difficult is machine learning. Okay, everyone loves machine learning. But the thing is, you need to first understand the fundamentals of machine learning. You need to understand the algorithms. You need to understand the basic principles on which machine learning works. Then you need to come to the AWS and see how many services AWS has. Now, to be very honest, AWS has quite a few number of machine learning services. So it's a great place to actually start experimenting. But yes, without knowing machine learning, it will be of zero value to start experimenting. So for that also, I had to go back, I had to learn Python, I had to learn the machine learning fundamentals, I had to read 2-3 different books just so that I can understand. Because by the time I started machine learning, I was already 12 years developing the web and the mobile and other applications. I had no idea or no knowledge about the machine learning. But somehow, if you are spending good amount of time learning these things, it actually makes you it helps you to prepare new things as well. And that is the one thing I tell to everyone. You don't need to start something on day one. Fresh out of the college, you don't need to do something. You can actually do it after 5 years. You can do it after 10 years. I started after 12 years. Okay, so if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's very as simple as that.
Actually, certifications cost, Dhaval?
It does cost because we have to pay for the certification, and there are other costs attached to that. Like you need to also probably you buy some courses from some place. So I used to refer to the A Cloud Guru courses, and one of the company. There are many other. But then the thing is, everyone says that the cost is even the certification cost. So AWS does again one wonderful job. If you are passing one, it gives you a 50% vouchers, which you can apply to the next. Now, it kind of a motivation as well. You have a 50% voucher. Okay, so that means if you use that, you will get through another one. So for first few, I didn't get it because they were not introduced. But then when someone asked me that it is so much of a cost, why should I pay? I say the same thing. We pay for the clothes that we wear. We pay for the shoes. We pay for the many other things, right? For what? To improve. Right, to either to upgrade our wardrobe or to improve ourselves. Why not spend on yourself? This is an investment. I did the investment on myself. Okay, and because of that, I earned so many other things. So this is a very little investment compared to what all things that I could do in last few years. So that justifies all the costs. And if I put a small calculation as well, I was still spending less than 2% of my monthly earning.
Less than 2% of your
monthly earning.
Monthly earning on these courses.
On all the things, whether it's a book, whether it's subscribing to the course or any other. On an average, I was still spending less than 3 to 4% of my monthly earning, which is very low. I mean, we spend more than that on other things. So why not spend on yourself?
Shilpa, I have one basic question here from a viewer by the name Samshvi.
Right.
The first part is a little broad. What are some basic use cases where AWS is used? The next is, and what kind of firms need people with AWS skill set? Either of you.
I think Jeevan can answer it much better.
I don't see any use case which doesn't fit AWS. Pretty much people are running everything from e-commerce to enterprise applications to IoTs, analytics, and everything. I don't see any particular use case which don't fit AWS. AWS fits all.
Okay, everything is done.
Yeah, it fits all, no doubt.
Okay.
What kind of people you would need?
What kind of firms need people? What kind of firms need people with AWS skill set?
What kind of firms? It's a very
opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay. What kind of? It's very hard.
I guess a lot of startups use AWS, but also a lot of big companies now use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think even in that sense, there is no bar. Like I use AWS in my day-to-day life as a startup. I have seen SMBs, which is a small and medium business and enterprises, using AWS for run their production workloads. I have seen large corporates running their production workloads on AWS. I think AWS just fits all. There is no way there is no way it doesn't fit a particular use case or a particular company. It fits all. I mean, people are creating companies to support AWS workloads for managed services companies. There are database migration companies. There are DevOps companies, stuff like that. So there is absolutely no use cases of companies.
I would like to add just two things. So what AWS can do. So you can write your simple hello world and you can run a satellite ground station on AWS. Okay. So there is it is from the single line of code to entire satellite ground station you can run in the cloud. Okay, and there are many companies who are already doing that. So that is one. So that is it. Second thing is around everything is going cloud. Last week, Mark Benioff, the CEO of Salesforce, says that cloud is here to stay forever.
Yes.
Okay. Right now, there are more opportunities for the cloud professionals than there are cloud skilled cloud professionals. Okay. So there are more jobs in the market for the cloud professionals than there are actual cloud professionals. Okay. So this is the thing. And now everything is going cloud. I mean, including the Zoom that we are using right now. It is a cloud-based communication and collaboration tool.
Right. We have a question from our one of our viewers. What do you think is the market share of AWS in cloud computing, and does it make a good case why one should choose AWS instead of other similar products?
Yeah, I also have a similar question here. In your opinion, what are the advantages of AWS over other cloud services? Okay.
So AWS is the market leader according to the Gartner survey, which came out last week, very recently in cloud computing space. Why choose AWS? I think as a AWS hero and AWS community leader, the amount of services AWS provides is huge. Like as mentioned, as Dhaval mentioned in his talk, that we have more than 175 plus services today running on AWS. You can pretty much do anything and everything on AWS, starting from machine learning to artificial intelligence, or even controlling the satellites. Then you can also build Alexa skills, test your mobile devices on one of the services of AWS and everything. So that's probably the first reason to go with AWS. And another thing is when you compare skills, you will find a lot more AWS professions out in the market comparatively. So that's one of the added advantage, because AWS came to got into business quite early in the days, probably 2007 or 8. 2006 when they released the first service. Consider 2007 and 8 with their EC2 launch and all. So you will find a bit more professional out in the market compared to any other cloud services. But it's anyways the discrete decision of the organization or an individual who wants to run their workload.
Very hybrid cloud kind of world. The companies using different clouds for different purposes and all that.
Sorry, Sujit, I lost you.
Isn't it true that many companies? There's a general trend towards a hybrid cloud where companies use different clouds for different purposes and all that.
That is true, but it's a debatable topic again. How companies, because I personally don't know how different cloud has been used by same organization as such. Right, so it's a very debatable topic, but yeah, it is picking up a lot of traction. Apparently, there is a hybrid cloud where there are corporates who run some amount of workloads on their on-prem technology and some amount of workloads on their AWS cloud or another cloud. So yeah, it is possible, and I'm not sure about this point in time that how many companies are actually using in a very serious way.
So I'll just add one thing. Yeah. So because the cloud has become kind of a new normal for past few years, many companies who have like a very huge amount of investment, they also have this kind of a strategy that why keep everything at one place? It's kind of, we would do the same thing, right? If we have very, very huge investment, we'll also think that instead of putting everything in one place, let's kind of do all the due diligence and make sure that we have kind of healthy rate. And then there are few things which one provider does better. There are few things which other provider might be doing better. So that is one of the kind of a right reasoning that many companies for depending on the use case to use case going hybrid.
Okay, okay. I have a question here from Shiv Shankar. If the certifications have a shelf life of 3 years, how do the renewals work? Is the renewal really important?
Renewals, so it is not, it is up to an individual. So mine will expire, but mine will start expiring from 2022 because I started in 2018 and then I completed last in 2020. So mine will start expiring from 2000.
I didn't understand. Acha. It expires,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, 3 years is basically end of life. And then you need to sit for the recertification. Otherwise, you do not have it. So over the period of time, my count will start again decreasing from 12 to 11 to 10 and stuff like that. Now, why would I recertify? One thing is, like I said, cloud is here to stay. That means I will also be doing the same thing which I am doing right now. I was doing the same thing few years back as well. And most likely I'll be doing the same thing many years from now. So, and in this time duration, many things change. Okay, they add new services, they adjust their curriculum as well. It's not the same thing which keeps on coming every year. They also revise their certification curriculum every 2 to 3 years. So that means they actually remove some of the old things and they put some of the new things, like the machine learning change. The serverless is now picking up very hugely. The container becomes the standard thing. So that kind of change you will see from certification to certification. Recertification is again the same process that you are still actively working and you are just trying to validate that all the knowledge that you had 3 years back, you still have the same knowledge. That's it. And that is my reason that I would again recertify myself so that I can continue working and I can continue giving the promise to my employers that yes, I still have all the skills.
How does it work? What do you have to do? What is the specific thing you have to do?
We just need to actually then again sit for another exam, same process that we had first time, same process.
One exam
for each. So there are, if I have completed 12, I need to again complete all 12.
Absolutely. So for each certificate, one exam you write, then if you pass, you are recertified.
Yes, for that exam. If I have passed 12, yeah, again I have to pass 12.
Got it.
We have a question from Niharika. How important are certifications for someone pursuing a career in AWS specialist?
See, it's a very general thing. If you have acquired this, I'm not talking about the foundational one because the foundational requires less time and it only tells that you have kind of a basic understanding about the cloud and all those things. But if you have really completed the associate or the professional, that means you spend enough time, effort, energy to learn those things, because without proper hands-on, you'll not be able to clear it. Now, if you do that, you already know AWS, right? So someone, if let's say I am hiring or anyone else is hiring, if I look at that, you have the professional certification, I know that this is very difficult thing to achieve. If you have achieved it, that means you already know, you are already a professional. Similar to how Jeevan said that before we become hero, we are already doing all these things. Okay, so before you get certified yourself, you already know these things. Okay, and that means it's a very easy filter that if you are a pro, if you are a specialty level certification, you know that thing already, and that makes you unique compared to many others who don't.
Yeah, so I would like to add on top of what Dhaval said. A lot of people think that it is, I'll just read a lot of documents and blogs and go through all the course materials and everything and crack the certification exam. Trust me, it is not going to be that easy unless and until you have hands-on experience, and it is very, it's highly impossible to crack AWS certifications. Probably cloud practitioner and associate to some extent, but when it comes to professional and specialty, it's highly impossible unless and until you have a very, very deep understanding of how services and technology works. Again, adding to what Dhaval said, for example, if I'm hiring for my organization and I receive 10 profile, and out of 10 profiles, I see there is a AWS certification or a specialty certification or a professional certification logo on the profile, I automatically get lean towards that profile and, probably accelerate the hiring process for that particular person. So it also opens a lot of, opens a lot of door as a career opportunity as well, because people know it is not an easy task to clear AWS certification, especially the professional and specialty one.
Decide which course to take. It should depend on my interest, or does it depend on the kind of programming languages that I already know, or does it depend on what I think will be the future opportunity? How should I decide which courses to do? Certifications.
Okay, Dhaval, I would like to add, probably you can take from that point. So it is very, very important to identify what kind of role you want to play and you are playing right now. Like if you are leaning towards a developer, I suggest to start the certification journey with developer program or developer AWS developer certification, associate and professional. If you are a DevOps engineer today, it is good to start with SysOps and DevOps certification. If you are an architect or probably want to take your career towards the architect role, it is good to start with associate and professional solutions architect. So it all depends on what I'm doing today and how do I want to take my career to the next steps. So I think these two are the very important factors to choose when.
What about for a totally new person, somebody who's just graduating or something like that? How does that work?
Somebody who is just graduating, I recommend to start with cloud practitioner. So he will have a good fundamental understanding of how cloud and AWS works, and then probably clear 1 or 2 or 3 associate certificates. Then figure out what he likes to do, like a solutions architect or DevOps or probably SysOps or a developer certification. He will probably figure out during the journey, okay, I'm a great DevOps, may not be a great developer, or I'm a great SysOps, may not be a great DevOps or something like that. Probably he can take the career forward. Yeah.
I would like to just add one thing. Yeah. So I would like to just add one thing. So these certifications are designed in a progressive manner. It's similar to our engineering, right? On first year, you do not go into specialization. On first year, you spend time on fundamentals. You spend time on what is core, okay? What will stay with you for a very long time. The same way, these certifications starting with, even though you are in the college, like Jeevan rightly said, that the best point to start will be foundational, that is a cloud practitioner, because that will give you a basic understanding of what the cloud engineering is, what are the data centers, how it achieves the security or the regional availability and stuff like that. So that is a very good point to start if you are someone who is quite new to the overall cloud computing fundamental. But as you start spending more time, as we progress into our academic career as well, we start actually going a particular path. Okay, that I want to become, I'm a good developer, so I want to become a developer. After spending some years as a developer, I understands everything, and I participate into different roles within my company or within whatever that I'm doing, right? So that kind of advances my level as well. So that is the place where you start transitioning from developer to now a solution architect, someone who designs the system, someone who is very familiar with all the internal details of designing this distributed cloud-based internet-based application. And now he's at a good place to actually start looking at the solution architect, designing the whole system. Someone who decided that I'm not so good at developing the whole system, but I'm good at managing those, right? You still need equal number of people to manage this large mega scale application. So they took the different part of SysOps, solution administrator, system administrator, and there is a separate part. So AWS has done the same job. You progressively enhance your skill set. You start somewhere where you fit yourself, right? And that's why previously there were some prerequisites that you had to, even if you wanted to sit for the professional or specialty, you need to first complete the associate level or like that, but they have removed that. The reason being, they keep on adding new certification. So someone who are already into the industry, someone who is familiar with the networking, or someone who is familiar with the machine learning, why should they go back and do the foundational first? They are already familiar with that. So they actually removed that bar, and now anyone can sit for any certification as long as the person individual thinks that I'm right fit for this. So I would suggest one thing: if you are not familiar with cloud computing, or if you are fresh, or if you are just in, you are still in the college or fresh out of the college, start the progressive manner, because that's how your career is going, from bottom to top, right? Work along the way and you will learn plenty of things. And there is no rush, there is no hurry.
There's a question from one of our viewers. How many heroes does AWS have in India? And if I have to really participate, how many hours do I give in a week or a month?
I think there are 8 heroes, if I'm not wrong. 8 heroes, different segments.
Had that, no?
Sorry?
One of your slides had that, no?
Yeah. I mean, we stored a few more heroes. I think we have 8 heroes, if I'm not wrong. And how many hours you want to spend? I gave my life to it. To be very honest, I almost spend, I spend weekends running communities. I've been doing it for the last 10 years. I mean, so imagine the amount of dedication and passion.
How do you catch AWS's attention so that they make me a hero? It's, I mean, doing community events and all are.
So I'll give my honest feedback. I never expected AWS Hero Award from AWS. I was just passionate and true to myself. I really believed in working with community, learning from each other, help each other to learn from others and stuff like that. That's all I did. Nothing more, nothing less. Imagine spending all your weekends, mostly Saturdays, if not Sundays, all your Saturdays for the last 10 years. So that is what it takes. If you have ability that, you have that passion, talking to hundreds of people on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, try to help them, run behind an organization to get the space to host the meetup, run behind speakers to request them, ask them to come and talk about a particular topic. If you have passion for all this, I think that's all it takes. Okay. I mean, if you want to be a hero, I think that should not be the approach. I don't believe that. If you chase money will not come to you. You have to believe in certain thing and work towards that. That is how
invariably that's how it happens. Yeah, if you're passionate enough, at some point they will recognize it.
Yeah, so if you can wake up 6:30, 6 o'clock a.m. every Saturday to run the community, I think that's all it takes. That's the starting point probably.
And you have to do it for many years.
You have to do it for many years.
And Jeevan, when we met, just as a follow-on question from my side, you're also trying to bring in more women into the user groups, right? Bhuvaneshwari is one example. If you can talk about how you're trying to, get this across to more women developers and increasing their participation.
So I met Bhuvaneshwari during one of the community, I think the first community which happened in Bangalore in the year 2017. I could see the passion, the interest she wanted to contribute towards the development of the community and believes in peer-to-peer learning, and that is how it started. Now she is now the face of diversity, and she's bringing a lot of women participation into user group, and she was also one of the speakers in AWS Women in Tech today. I think it's really important to have that diversity. I mean, it's 2020. We have to really work towards involving all kinds of people coming together and share our experiences and knowledge. No doubt about that. I think we need one driving factor. I was very lucky enough to, having met her, to be very honest.
Interesting question here from Anirudh. For someone well-versed with competition cloud services like Azure, how similar or different is the skill set for AWS?
I believe, I mean, it's my personal opinion. I believe most almost all the cloud providers work on the basic distributed computing philosophy methodology. It should not be a major a paradigm shift for you to shift from any other cloud provider to AWS. Uh, Again, the biggest advantage of coming to AWS is you have to learn more than 160, 175 plus services. But I mean, I'm not sure if anyone can talk about all the 175 services, but the learning curve is not high. It is low. The learning curve is low. You can easily pick up skills from AWS. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I will just add one thing. So at the very core, cloud is meant to what? Run applications, right? Whether it's X cloud or Y cloud or Z cloud. Okay. So the fundamental or building block of the cloud, which is kind of a compute, storage, networking, and security, essentially these things are there. It is just a change of the terms or a different way to implement, but this is the building blocks of the cloud. So if you know in one, chances are that you might be able to just easily transition to other clouds as well. And this is what many of the other professionals who know multi-cloud, they'll say the same thing, that these are the building blocks, the fundamental blocks of the entire cloud engineering. They remain the same, only the services change. So it should be not that difficult.
Actually, for me, it was other way around. So I think there are people coming from other segments of cloud as well.
Okay. Okay. Shilpa?
There's a question from Bhavesh Chauhan. Is AWS certification useful for business analysts in a tech firm, or will it help only developers?
Yeah, I would like
Jeevan.
I would like to answer. Yes, it helps business analysts, project managers, product managers as well. At least it is good to have a practitioner certification, and probably if you can crack associate certification as well, it will definitely help. And another thing is, I think AWS also recommends certain kind of business certification as well. I think only AWS partner will have the access. I'm not sure. Probably have to check. But there are certain certifications which meant for business people also.
Dhaval, you want to add to that?
I'll say the same thing as Jeevan said, that if you are into business and your business, or whether your employer or you yourself is doing something which is related to the cloud, you should have the basic understanding of the cloud itself, right? Then you will be able to do more things. You will be able to explain these things to your clients or customers and like that. So foundational, or even the for the APN partner, they have the business certification, which actually gives enough understanding to even the non-technical, that what cloud is, what all things you can do. And the biggest advantage is, if you know it better, you will have a kind of a good role to play when your employer or you or your team is designing your solution, because you can add, all of this can add value. Knowing certain things adds a big value. And I would definitely recommend that, yes, if you are a part of a team, or if you're a part of a company who does the clouds around, have the business around the cloud services, you should know these things. And there are plenty of abundance of resources, even the free resources available to actually acquire this knowledge.
Yeah, basically, if you don't want your customers or clients or your reportees take you for a ride, better you get yourself certified.
Do you have a lot of people writing into you, advice and all that as a community leader?
Yeah. I mean, I get a good amount of messages on LinkedIn. I personally take time to respond to all of them.
You respond to everybody, or
Yes,
pass it on to somebody? Yeah.
I usually don't pass it on unless and until I do see a need to pass it on to somebody else. But I try to answer those questions and help people as much as possible. I mean, after pandemic, it's been a little difficult because the messages are everywhere. It's on Slack, it's on Google Chat, it's on MS Teams, it's on Zoom, it's everywhere literally. So it has been difficult during the pandemic, but otherwise I always took time. I have also spoken to a lot of people. Like scheduled meetings to understand what they need. I have personally answered those concerns and stuff like that. I mean, I can present so many use cases in that sense.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's
How
what
many?
it takes. So
How
that's what
many?
it takes to become
I'm
a
sure.
community hero.
Yeah. Okay. How
Yeah.
many such passionate people are there in the Bangalore group?
So Bangalore, we have 8,000
How
plus
many?
people.
I know of them. How
Hello.
many are really active and?
So we have a quite a active group of users, but after the pandemic, even we have started doing online meetups where it is very difficult to assess how many repeat users we have, how many new users we have come across. But we have a quite a good fan base, I should say. We have a good amount of fan base in Bangalore, actually.
Wonderful. Shilpa, I'm done, huh? The
Yeah.
questions, yeah. It's around, we run out of time also. 7:10
Right.
now.
One question coming in, how AWS introduced the bottle rocket to power containerized workloads. So if you can share some details as to how do you get a better hang of it, literature, blogs.
I let Dhaval to answer this question because I've
It
not
is
personally.
just last week. If I remember correctly, it is just announced last week.
2 weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, so 10 days or so.
Yeah.
Even I will not be the right person, but yes, AWS has been doing this for quite some time where they see that there is a good chance that something which they are internally using, like the underlying engine behind the Lambda and the Fargate, so they make it open source so that they can start also getting in the feedback. They have actually released some documentation related to this, but because this is just less than 2 weeks that it has been announced, I think very limited documentation is available. And it is also at the same time, it's very difficult to answer this question at this moment.
Okay, great discussion. I know, I'm sure viewers would have learned a lot from you. Shilpa, the questions done.
One last question.
One more. Wow.
One on the students, the number of students, requesting that how do they participate in that? Is it open for students as well?
It's open for everyone, not only students or not only professionals. It's open for everyone. If you are watching this video, check out awsugbler.in, which is AWS User Group Bangalore.in, or awsug.in, which is a nationwide website which we have. You will find all the information. Drop an email. We will internally circulate and figure out what to do and how do we kind of work with you to probably organize an event or a meetup or something like that. Anyone can be part of user group. It's an open community.
Even we have students who are helping us in organizing the event. So then our next big event, which is coming next month, we have like a big set of volunteers, again students, and they are helping us to actually move things around. So they are very well part of this thing.
Great. Any more, Shilpa?
Nothing else.
Okay.
So one last question, do you want to talk about the Jeff Bar session that's coming and how you guys are all excited within the community?
Yes. So I met Jeff Bar twice last year when I was in Melbourne and also at Las Vegas. I have been a great fan of Jeff Bar in almost a decade now, and I was always excited to meet him. And when I sent an email to him saying we are doing this event, which is one of the cities across India coming together and hosting this event, he was very excited to address the keynote. And it was always our dream, and we always desired to have Jeff Bar as a keynote speaker, as a India user group, as a India one nation, one community. And finally, we got him, and we are all excited about hearing his experience from as a evangelist of AWS, and he's also part of. He's taken multiple roles in AWS as well. So I would like to know more about his journey and his experiences. We are very excited about it.
Great. So when is that? Is there a date for that?
It's on 16th October 2020. People who are watching this video, they can check out the website awsug.in, awsug.in. You will find all the information about the event. The event is free to register, so anyone can participate, from student to working professional and whatnot. It's a whole day event with more than 10 plus sessions planned from industry leaders across India and worldwide as well.
Thank you so much, Jeevan and Dhaval. It was a pleasure to speaking to both of you and hearing from you on your learnings, your AWS journey, and how you built communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Much.
Jeevan.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jeevan.
Sujit. Thank you,
Yeah,
Anusha.
thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.